Example. In the figure, the measure of angle 3 equals 102. I'll fill that in first. The measure of angle 3 is 102 degrees. Find the measure of each angle. Tell which postulate or theorem you used. We're not going to do that part. All right, using that information, we'll be able to figure out the rest of these. So, letter A, we need to figure out the measure of angle 5. So angle 5 is down here. I'm going to use the same color because I realized that 3 and 5 are alternate interior angles, meaning they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So if I draw this in as a transversal, 3 and 5 are on opposite sides. One's on the right side, one's on the left side. So this also equals 102. I'm not going to draw the degree symbol in the picture every time because the picture is going to get complicated. All right, so 102 degrees there and 102 degrees there. I hope you're noticing as we're moving along that P and Q are parallel lines because they each have a single arrow on them. And then angle, or line M, I hope I didn't say angle on that last set. Line M and line N are also parallel because they have two of those arrow symbols on them. In this case, we used P as a transversal, and we focused on these two parallel lines. Let's take a look at B, angle 6. All right, for angle 6, I'm going to transition to another color. Angle 6, we're trying to figure out, and I want you to notice that angle 5 and angle 6 make 180 degrees. So I'm going to take the easy route here, and I'm going to say, well, if they together equal 180, if I take 180 and subtract 102, I'll figure out the measure of this angle 6. So I borrow from the 8 and I make it a 7, and I add 10 to that 0. 10 minus 2 is 8, 7 minus 0 is 7, 1 minus 1 is 0. So the angle 6 is 78 degrees. I'm going to actually mark that in red because I think it'll be easier to see. So angle 6 is 78 degrees. So we're done with B. We move on to C, angle 11. Now angle 11 is way over here. So I'm going to have to figure out another angle before I can figure out angle 11. So what I'm going to do, and there are a ton of ways to do this, is I'm going to focus on these two parallel lines, P and Q, and I'm going to treat N as the transversal because the transversal just has to cut through both of those parallel lines. And then I'm going to think about the fact that angle 6 and angle 14 are corresponding, meaning they're in the same spot in their set of 4 angles. So in the 13, 14, 15, and 16, 14 is top right. In the 5, 6, 7, and 8, 6 is the top right. So they're corresponding angles and they're congruent. So then from here, I'm still trying to figure out angle 11, and I noticed that angle 11 and 14 are on the inside of the parallel lines M and N, so they're interior angles, and they're same side interior angles. So we know that same side interior angles are going to add up to 180, they're supplementary. So I can take 180 and subtract 78 to get angle 11. Now if 180 minus 102 is 78, then 180 minus 78 is 102. Let me show you. Borrow from the 8, make it a 7, make that a 10. I get 2, 0, 102. So my 102s I'm writing in that blue color. So I'm going to write 102 here. And then I'm going to write 102 here. All of these angles in this whole set are either going to be 102 or 78. Moving on to D, angle 7. So angle 7, all right, is vertical to angle 5, and vertical angles are congruent, so I know that angle 7 is 102. You'll notice that the more angles we fill in, the easier these problems become. All right, angle 15. All right, angle 15 is it corresponds to angle 11, so it also equals 102. So angle 15 is 102 degrees. And then angle 14, guess what? Look, we already figured out angle 14, and that is 78 degrees. So we just finished this problem, or this example.